Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Anyhow Anyway by Summer England. I'm your podcast host, Summer England, and we talk about all things bookish, smutting, writing routines. This is a really good intro because I'm immediately messing it up. Look, the fact of the matter is this. I'm your chaotic podcast host, and I would say that most of you as listeners are here because you know me being chaotic on other social media platforms, okay? So you know what you're signing up for. One of the reasons why I'm coming to you today, slurring my words, is that I am so tired and drawn out because I went on a 7.5-mile hike to nowhere. Was it supposed to be to somewhere? Yeah. Did we take a wrong turn? Sure did. Because let me ask you something. Are national parks allergic to signage that is followable? Because I got to a sign and the arrows were pointing in not a direction where the road was going. And I thought I made the most logical conclusion to forge ahead because I was trying to go on this. It was supposed to be like a 4-mile hike to a place called Humpback Rock. And you were going to look over the Blue Ridge and it was going to be really like moving and beautiful and sensational. And oh my gosh. And I was so excited. And baby, we've been walking hour 45 minutes, 2 hours, nothing. We are deep in the forest. I didn't bring my water bottle with me. Why? Because I don't want to hold it. I don't want to hold it. And I think to myself, 4 miles. I walk 4 miles every day. I walk 4 to 5 miles every day. Easy. A 4-mile hike, honey. What am I? A child? Are we in preschool? Of course I can do a 4-mile hike without my giant jug of water. Okay, I start checking my little heart app. We've already walked 4 miles and there's nothing. There's no view. There's no rock. There's no hump. I'm getting kind of concerned. Finally, I had the most ominous interaction. So we see these hikers coming down, and at first I was taking it as a good sign of like, oh yeah, it's a loop. I guess we go up and then we come back down and the mileage has to be wrong because it is now 4 miles up to the rock instead of 4 miles around. What's going on? Finally, this man passes us, and he's a bona fide hiker. All right, he's got his little walking sticks. He's got his backpack that he can slurp juice out of. You know what I'm saying? And I make a joke in passing and I was like, is it worth it up there? He said, I'm sorry. This man is on a mission. I have interrupted him. I don't care. This man has a pedometer on his shoulder. All right, I have seen where he's been. The steps it has taken him to get there literally. And I am like, well, is it, how far up? How much more do I have to go? And he has this little newfangled app. Everything has a fucking app. Okay? And he's like, you are 1.5 miles from like this initial spot and then 2 miles to the next. And I was like, this cannot be right. He keeps going. And then he turns back and he said, it's really uphill from here with a lot of rocks. Mind you, we've been going at a GD 90-degree angle for the last 3 miles. So for this man to say it's about to get really hard, I was like, what? This is not the hike I signed up for. I signed up for a hike that was going to be like strenuous but not impossible. What's going on? What's going on? Everybody, we have to get on the same page. What's going on? And so he's turned around and he checks his watch and he says, it's going to get dark. Well, might get dark. You might not get turned around. And then he goes on. And I think to myself, see, if I were a different person, I would not have heeded this very mercurial interaction that I just had with this man who looks like he's out of a horror show. But he doesn't look like he is the impetus of the horror. He looks like the person you run into who is the harbinger of a change of fate. He's letting you know, if you go down this path, you're gonna die. And you know what? I heeded that call. Oh my God, there's a deer in my backyard. I am looking outside my window right now, which is another thing entirely, because let me tell you something right now. My office had a complete conundrum. As long as I don't eat my plants, I'm fine. I'm fine with her. We can hang out. That's fine with me. Okay, anyways. So I had moved my office in a different place. I painted this sort of, I think it's called a cradle room or a trunk room that is part of my old house. And it's just this randomly huge, what would be a huge closet, but a very tiny bedroom. And I painted it this beautiful rose color. All right. And it was like a little nook, and it was very cute, very sweet. Well, my bookshelf over the weekend collapsed and broke things in there. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to move back to the big room. And now I have, and there's something about being back in the bigger office that's like attached to the rest of the house, where I feel like I'm not sequestered away and I'm part of the action. I don't know. This just goes to show you that be in touch with your space, be in touch with the data that you're gleaning from your space. Because sometimes you're doing something in your whimsy house and you think this is the perfect paint color. This is the thing to do. And then you sit with it for a few more months and you're like, actually, no. Is it a failure? No. You tried it. And now you know. You got to learn your house. Okay. This is an extremely long-winded introduction for a topic of which has nothing to do with what we just talked about. Maybe the little bit hiking. Today, we're continuing the Cozy in the series, and we're going to be cozy in the gym. Oh yeah, insert some type of exciting, music here, which I don't have. I'm sure I could do some type of music thing. I'm sorry, I have a life. I can't be putting sound effects here. It's a podcast. What are we doing? Is this a radio play? Anyhow, so we're going to be talking about the gym. We're going to be talking about how to be cozy in the gym, because I hate toxic gym culture. And I think discussions around movement, around nutrition, around gym stuff are the antithesis of cozy. Now, here's my issue with the gym, is that I have been forced to engage with it because last summer I found out that I was high risk for cancer, multiple iterations of it. And one thing my cancer team, yeah, I'll have my people call your people. I'm talking about my cancer team. My cancer team is really intense about is ensuring that I have good bone health, especially as a woman, that I am maintaining my bone health, that I am maintaining muscle, that I am moving my body, that I'm doing resistance training. Now, it's not high intensity interval training. It's not crazy cardio. It is not for the express purpose to get smaller. However, it was a journey that I had to go on, and I've been on it for the last year, of basically curating a gym experience that didn't bring up stuff for me, because content notification. The type of family that I grew up in was one that was Southern women, and skinniness was next to godliness. And when I was like 14 years old, I was put on different diets because I was too puffy or whatever. And because I had food allergies, food also like really hurt my stomach, and I didn't know why. So food and I already have a difficult relationship. I am way past like that phase of my life, but I know that because of my history, that things to do with movement, things to do with having to track my nutrition, which was something I had to do for the last year, are things that can be viscerally uncomfortable for me in a way that my ADHD, that my autism, that my Virgo-ness can try to control in a way that's not cozy. I didn't want to do that. Also, I didn't want my experience of going to the gym, which I find to be the antithesis of creativity. I mean, One of the reasons why I hated going to the gym was because nothing felt farther from art than going to the YMCA. I know that sounds so ridiculous, but it's the same way I feel when I've been in Manhattan for too long. And I'm like, I have not seen a naturally growing tree. I can't do this anymore. And the gym feels that way to me. I'm like, why would I waste an hour of my day around this? Nothing in here is inspiring to look at. There's no narrative anywhere. I don't like any of these people. I don't know any of these people. This is all these machines freak me out. It's loud, it's smelly. I really don't want to do this. But because I had to engage with it after my cancer team was like, Queen, you have to lift weights, and I wasn't about to buy a weightlifting thing for my whimsy house, my God, I said, okay, well, then I'm going to learn how to make this cozy, because I refuse to do anything I don't like to do. Ask anybody in the world. If they have met me once, if I do not like to do it, baby, I'm not engaging with it. I am not engaging with it in any type of way. And so, over the last year, I have spent a lot of time curating what I believe to be cozy at the gym. And I'm going to take you through it. One, as everything from writing to engaging basically in anything with your body, time of day makes a big difference. I learned that yes, I had the motivation to go to the gym in the morning, but my morning times are so sacred. And I learned that if I went to the gym and did something that physical, that was so distant from like outside, I didn't have as good of a day. But if I went in the middle of the afternoon, schedule allowing, I actually had an okay time, because 3 o'clock is no man's land anyway. I'm dumb at 3 o'clock. Let me tell you something. You are not getting anything smart out of me. My writing is completed, because if I'm writing past noon, then I am under a very strict deadline, or I'm editing or something, or for whatever reason, I have the ADHD muse descend upon me and I have thoughts to give. But typically, the morning time is when I am my most creative. It is when I am in my most in tune with myself. It is also, I am high needs for low stimulation in the morning. I really struggle. I am a morning person. I wake up early. Just don't interact with me, and then we'll be fine. Going to the gym in the morning was something that I discovered was actually not the time I wanted to go. That was not the time that I wanted to go or I enjoyed to go, so I don't go then. And if that's the only time in my schedule that I can go, guess who's not going? Me. I do not want to ever associate going to the gym with forcing myself into a version of myself I do not like, or don't recognize, or don't enjoy. So number one is find out the time of day that you like to go. What is whatever. This is if you want to go. But I would suggest moving your body and reading are probably habits that should be required of society. Obviously, there's going to be a myriad of ability issues that could hinder that. But for the most part, we should be reading and moving our bodies. Come on, we've got bodies and we've got minds. Let's feed them both. Healthy, for the express purpose of getting stronger, or like making sure that you can walk when you're 98, not getting smaller, not shrinking, not honey, I shrunk the woman. Okay. Anyways, the second biggest thing is that I write little notes to myself, because I have learned that I have to track the weights that I'm doing. I have to track lots of things for my doctors and stuff. And at first, I thought it was so dreary. I don't like tracking. I don't like numbers, and it just felt very arbitrary. And I've been working on progressive overload, meaning just adding more reps or adding more weight. And at the end of a week, I will leave a note to myself for the next week of like encouraging things of, hey, you just hit a personal best, or you got 12 reps on the last set, queen, or good job, you can go up to 35. And I can't tell you how big of a difference it has made, because there's something about my past self writing a little note to my future self that feels the same as how I imagine, like if my mom had ever packed my lunch and left me a note, how that would feel. And so today when I went and I was about to do arms, because I always forget what weight I just did, because duh, I got on my little tracking app and my notes app where I track things, and I saw a little note for myself that was like, you did 5 more. Go up. You got this, queen. And I was like, that I was so sweet to myself, which I think is another way to slowly break apart gym culture, society pressures, is just to find joy in it. I mean, whimsy in the faces of audaciousness, if you've heard me once, you've heard me a million times, I say it all the time, is that there are some things like movement, like eating, like talking about this stuff that so much of it has been toxicified, we still can get joy from it. You know, like I have had really horrible relationships, but that doesn't make me think that love is a thing that is not for me and that I cannot engage with it. And that's how I guess, have been feeling about movement. Now, would I have done this if I hadn't been kind of forced to health-wise? No, but I am, and so I'm going to share it with you. The third thing is that get an audiobook. Get the spiciest, smuttiest, or coziest, chaotic audiobook and lift to it. Obviously, there are millions of awesome playlists of music, and there are specific playlists for fantasy-loving people who are at the gym. And it just goes to show you that you are not alone in your niche, however you say it. You're not alone in your corner of the world. There's a freak pervert out there who also needs a Renaissance daddy fair turkey leg playlist to lift weights to. I have been lifting and doing some cardio to Targaryen Female Rage. I just like the specificity of playlists. Like, are we at a Babylon era of what we can do with tech? Yeah, but also like it's kind of heat. Like Babylon, I mean, it was so tall that God was like, hey, get out of here. And like, I mean, come on. And so you can find a playlist for anything. So find your playlist. Find the thing that makes you happy. Have I listened to Lord of the Rings and The Rite of the Rohirrim when I'm trying to get like a personal best? Yes. Did I walk out of that gym on cloud 9 because I have just partaken in taking the hobbits to Isengard? God, you get it. Isengard. Yes, I have. Okay. But on another note, I have been horking down some audiobooks at the gym. And sometimes I just treat the gym like I do an airport magazine, where I'll go on the Libby app, or I'll go like get a free book that under no circumstances would I have engaged with if I wasn't like in a weird activity. I don't know how to explain that particular trade-off in my brain, but I'm already doing an activity that like makes no sense to me. So I might as well get a book that I wouldn't otherwise read to match this vibe. And it's been awesome. I put it on like double speed 2.0, honey. And I'm just lifting. I'm burning through. All right. Listen to Bridgerton in there, and it's cozy. It's cozy. The fourth thing is, if you're embarrassed, just think that everybody else is too. Everybody else is too. The gym is an inherently embarrassing place. I do not get secondhand embarrassment. It is very difficult for me to get embarrassed. I don't care. I do not care what you think. I genuinely don't care what you think. I am doing embarrassing things all the time. Now, granted, my professional career is a regional theater actor. I am on stage, unmiked, and I'm often cast in comic leading lady roles. I'm doing embarrassing shit on stage in front of hundreds of people. My voice is cracked when I'm singing in front of hundreds of people. I don't care. Oh no, some random person I didn't even know existed thinks that my form is weird while I'm trying to lift 30 pounds, which feels like nothing to the person who was just before me who lifted 120. Big effing whoop, baby. How are we caring about this? We're adults. We have to stop. We have to stop that. I think one of the reasons I have cultivated a coziness in the gym is that I go in there and I'm like, look, I'm doing stuff wrong. And I'm going to do it so forward facing that the worst you can think about me is that she's committed. She's committed. She is struggling and she is committed. Also, no one is paying attention. They're all doing their own things. They're all bent over doing kickbacks and grunting and sweating. Like, it's an embarrassing place, so it's okay. You will never be more embarrassing than the guy named Brad who is still filming himself on his Ring camera and taking up the entirety of the mirrors. You will never be that guy. And for that, I think you can just let yourself off the hook and just honestly make yourself at home. That's what I've been doing. As I'm saying this, I'm realizing, make yourself at home. You sit down on that machine, you scrub a dub it, and you figure it out. Okay? The fifth thing, I think that this is the fifth thing. I've lost count. I have. When I have to do cardio, which I do not enjoy. I don't enjoy that. I do the Stairmaster. One, I'm pretending like I'm Nesta, doing the 10,000 steps. Two, that's when I let myself have social media scroll. Okay? Because I watch my screen time. You know, I microdose it. I'm not trying to not live my life because I'm scrolling. I also don't enjoy it at all. But when I'm on the Stairmaster, I'm like, it's time to watch some food videos, baby. It's time to watch Glow Yo-Yo make her breakfast in the morning. And it's me, Kate Eve, do her vegan what I eat in a day. And I mean, the people who make the whimsical breakfast with the little star confettis that they have handmade. And all of the edits of what your camera roll would look like, that I could live on an app where the only premise is that you are required to post if you post, your camera roll if you dated. And it's the funniest prompts of all time. The guy from the Wild Thornberries, I laugh so hard. The yellow peanut M&M, I think it's the funniest, and that's what I'm doing on the Stairmaster. That's what I'm doing, is I'm putting in my 20 minutes of social media time, and I forget I'm on there. And then I feel good. You know what I mean? And then I go on hikes. I go on lots of walks. I'm on my feet kind of all day. Work is very active. But the gym is something I have had to engage with 3 to 4 times a week. And I have noticed, like when I was drafting my Wild West Meets the Mummy Sapphic Romantasy, when I was drafting that at the beginning of the year, I fell off of going, and it affected my mental health. It's so annoying. It's annoying that when I sleep, when I have good sleep hygiene, and when I try to mitigate stress, and when I eat okay, and when I don't have 12 cups of coffee for breakfast, and when I go to the gym, that I feel like a little bit better. That, I don't think that's right. I don't know if that's fair, but that's what's happening. And so I wanted to present this to you all because I want to see more cozy girls in the gym. And I do think I have this theory that I am slowly starting a kind of renaissance or a coup even. Because I started bringing my dirty little smut novels that cover out, baby. All right? This isn't on my Kindle. All right? I'm showing you that what I'm reading. I popped that treadmill up, put it on 12 incline because I'm an insane woman. And I've been reading. And several people during that duration have been like, oh, what are you reading? Oh, I've been worried to bring my book to the gym. I didn't know how people would think about it. And I was like, baby, who cares? Sugar, we are at the YMCA. Okay? We're with people who are still on OkCupid, desktop version. Sugar, you bring your book. And if they say something, send them my way, and they will walk away and choose to never talk to a woman again. I promise you. Okay, I look real cozy, but honey, I didn't study linguistical wordsmithing for years to be bested by a Brad who's like, you reading romance novel at the gym? And they've done that to me before. I've been next to a Brad who has been like, what are you reading? A romance novel? Romance? I can get into that. And I was like, and I'm sure it shows. I'm sure it shows you can't get into a romance novel. One, you're walking backward on the treadmill, walk forward. How about that? You're doing things backwards because you're backwards. You know what I mean? Like it's a pretty vicious circle. And I have noticed more and more people bringing books. And I'm not seeing nonfiction titles. I'm seeing a few romances. And I would just like to think that you, my podcast listener, and me, we're kind of doing something. We're kind of doing something special. So anyhow, anyway, toxic gym culture is stupid, but moving your body is good. You know, there's no doubt about it. Moving around, going on a walk, getting that blood pumping, making sure that when you are 98 years old and everything in your family's going great, so you decide to jump down the stairs like all grandmas do, that you're like, actually don't break anything. You're fine. It's just like a funny picture you send your kids and grandkids. And then you can have hot firefighters come pick you up. That's what my great grandma did. She had Life Alert. And when she was like a little lonely in her garden, she was pressing that button. She was pressing that button because she had crushes on all the guys at the fire department. And they would come over and she would say, are you all here for me? Ooh. Ooh, that one. That lady. That lady was a queen. Anyhow, anyway, I hope this has been semi-helpful to have the audaciousness to curate your own coziness. Take life by the balls, damn it. All right? We have one beautiful life. Anyways, I'm going to Ireland with a neighbor. You're invited. There's a few more spots left. You can book it. You can buy my book, The Impossible Garden of Clara Thorne. Happy Pride Month. It's always Pride Month. It is sapphic. There is spicy sapphic scenes in there. It is cozy. The main character is flawed. Oh no, a book where the woman is flawed. Whatever will we do? And I love it. I'm obsessed with it. And I have loved hearing the reader responses that I have semi-engaged with. I don't remember that Goodreads is a platform because I don't like it as a platform, and I have not had any difficulty avoiding it as an author. I'm like, that is not a space for. I don't know why I would want to engage with it. I'm good. I'm okay. I don't need to know. So things have been going well in that arena. I love hearing from you all. Not like and subscribe. Rate and review. It's helpful. And in the meantime, if you're trying to dose up on coziness in between the coziness that I provide you, you should listen to the All Things Cozy podcast. They're on hiatus right now, but they have a huge backlog of episodes. I mean, they're getting close to 10 years. I think next year is 10 years that they've have their podcast, and it's my favorite podcast of all time. Also, Happy Wife, Happy Life by Kendall Landreth and Jordan Myrick. The two lesbians I have huge crushes on. Also, their podcast is great. It's not cozy like All Things Cozy, but it's cozy because they're, I think, cozy people. Anyhow, anyway, stay cozy, stay bookish, stay chaotic. Bye.